Welcome back to Creating Cooperative Kids. I'm your host, Bill Corbett. A mother came to me for some parent coaching one day and told me in a lighthearted way that she had had it with the kids and was ready to sell them to the zoo. Of course, she didn't mean that, but was expressing her frustration with being a mom and trying to do it all. So how can parents support each other creatively, knowing how difficult it is to raise children in today's modern world? My guests on today's show have some ideas on this. From left to right and back to front, Robin Cournoyer is a mother of 3 boys and a nurse with her own practice. Jean Labens is a mother of 1 girl and a boy and is an executive coach. Celia Rose is a mother of twin boys and runs a business holding mock juries for attorneys. Linda Spevicek is a mother of 2 boys and is an executive coach and speaker. And Maureen Wolf is a mother of 1 girl and 3 boys and works in town government. Now together, along with Karen Garvin and Lael Jacobs and Bonnie Quinlan, they are the authors of the new self-published book, Just Ordinary Moms, a book of true stories by moms for moms. It was published in April 2013, and if I can, let's get the shot of the entire group up there. The entire group, we're missing 3 from this group. If we can put that still shot up there real quick. And while my crew is there, it is. It looks like you were having fun there on the Channel 8.
Fun at a news channel, yeah.
And they're great folks. Was it with Connecticut Style? Were you guys on Connecticut Style?
With Ann Nyberg.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, good. Yeah. Okay, so we're back on the topic is how parents can support each other. And at the start of, or the end of the last segment, I was talking about especially single parents because you know, if you've got 2 parents, you can get some relief by getting help from the other parent. But sometimes you're the only parent completely. And so even more of a reason why you would need some help with getting support from each other. So what does that mean, getting support from other parents? How other parents can support them? And you have one more story from your book as an example?
Yes, I'd like to read a section, Bill. This is called The Good Mother. In a casual phone conversation with a girlfriend and fellow mom, I hear of an unfortunate mother who recently learned that her 8-year-old child has diabetes. With puzzlement that echo like a plea, my girlfriend cries, and she is one of those really good moms. Like, how could that happen to her? A wave of anxiety ripples through me, intensified in seconds to pure panic. My heart is beating rapidly, my mind racing. It goes something like this. I'm not doing enough, so sure enough, I'm not making sure my son's eating healthy, whole foods with no sugar. I knew I should have switched him to organic food, even though it's expensive and difficult to find. I should insist that he get at least an hour of physical activity a day. I let him watch too much TV. Why didn't I find a brand new type of vitamins when he decided to refuse his current ones? If I'm a good mother, why is he liable to come down? He could come down with scabies, rickets, cancer, and my self-awareness is a tornado of apprehensiveness that picks up with speed and strength with each area it touches, leaving a disheartening pile of destruction and despair in its wake. So how many times do we put all that guilt back on us? I should have done this. I should have done this. Why did this happen? It happened because I didn't do this, to the extent that she thinks that she's going to cause her child to have a disease because of something she did or did not do. And
we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I think
exactly.
that's the point. You know, is sometimes we're just so judgmental towards ourselves, and we think we should be so perfect. And you can't do it all. It's impossible. So
I think what that story illustrates is how much is going on in the mom's head that she's not sharing with her friend on the phone, right? So you talk about what can mothers do to support one another. So what is it that causes us, even with people who we're close with, who are in a similar situation, that we don't actually let our hair down and let them know what we're feeling?
It's definitely a trust issue in some ways amongst women to build to that deeper level of maybe even beyond some of the play groups or the book clubs or whatever that might stay at some level of idle chit-chat where then you feel like you have to stay at some norming level, but to get a little bit deeper with folks that you trust, you then start to open up with, well, you know, okay, I'll admit it, don't tell anyone else, but my kids aren't perfect. What happens when they do this? What do you think? That trust is, I would say, one aspect of it. It's also the fear of the unknown. For me, having twins, talk about double typhoon. I mean, I thought for sure that, you know, my kid was a biter, I was going to have a serial killer. At some point, I mean, I just didn't know what it was about and when it would end. But sure enough, with twins, you can almost guarantee the second one will do whatever that first one did within a day or so. So I always knew how to. I always knew how to handle the second one much better than the first one. So, yeah, it's trust in the journey of the unknown.
It's like it reminds me of when you go into a grocery store and your child decides to have a meltdown,
Right.
and then you got neighbors looking at you, or worse. They know you're a parent expert, and they see, your child did a lot of great. I can see that. But, so you guys all got together. You gals all got together because from that whole perspective, support, right?
Well, it was a book club.
Exactly.
It started as a book club.
Yep,
We
started as a book club.
Talk about how it started, and then we grew into a writer's circle. And what we found was with those first stories, we started sharing things that none of us really knew about each other right away.
That was, because I came into it a little bit later, I think, a couple months after, and I was blown away by the quality of writing. But for some of the women that I had known for different ways throughout the years, their stories, because to me they seemed like they had it all together. I had been a stay-at-home mom for most of my kids growing up, and so some of the women I sort of envied their careers, and I'm like listening to these stories thinking they had it all together, and wow.
And I didn't.
None of us did.
Well, I think you had it way more together than you think you did, but I was just really blown away, and that was that whole trust thing that people were able to really, and those stories, some of those stories didn't get into the book, but that we all trusted each other with that. It's amazing.
And so speaking of your book, there's the proceeds. A portion of the proceeds goes to an organization you were telling me earlier. You want to talk about that?
Actually, there's two. I'll address Hole in the Wall Gang, and I'll have Linda talk about the Optimist. Hole in the Wall Gang is a camp that Paul Newman started over 20 years ago, right in Connecticut, and it's for children who have a chronic condition. It could be diabetes, asthma, cancer, anything, and it's just a place for them to go to be a kid. And it's just a wonderful environment. It gives the parents a break. And also, I just learned recently through a woman who was in my class, parents can go there with their children, and then there's support for the parents. She went for a family weekend because we were talking about the proceeds of the book going to that, and she said, oh my goodness, we just had a wonderful time there, just absolutely wonderful.
And we also decided to support something that would be a global organization. So we do contribute also to Optimist International, which is the largest organization on the planet that supports women and children. But they operate through regional and local organizations. So it's feet on the street and hands on the ground, but we're looking at a lot of worldwide causes. So we feel good about it.
Yes.
And that's awesome because I donate a portion of the proceeds of my book to the Network Against Domestic Abuse in Connecticut.
Yep.
And also, my wife and I also contribute our time and expertise because I'm on the board. So we picked one organization to give all we can. And of course, in the process, I do parent education with a lot of the clients as well. Now, you're also interested in looking for more stories for the next edition?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
3 books that we're in the process of collecting stories. First is Just Ordinary Moms, Just Ordinary Pets, and Just Ordinary Military Moms. And we're collecting the stories from all of our viewers, and we would love for them to submit the stories to our website.
Okay, yeah, we've been showing the website.
Excellent.
So if anyone has a story that you would like to contribute to, you can see the website on there, and that's awesome. And so the whole support thing, you talked about a book club and a writer's club. We've only got 2 minutes left, but are there other things that you would suggest to
I just have a quick point, and we sort of addressed it, but there was such a therapeutic effect that we all gathered from getting together as people shared their different stories, and I think that was something maybe we didn't think about that was going to happen.
That was going to happen.
Yeah, I think we didn't know what it was going to feel like to actually write down. So it was something we wanted to suggest to people. That, whether it's keeping a diary or writing a story and sending it in to us, either way, it's just really useful.
I think so.
Well,
too.
we also discovered, we thought we were writing about something that was unique to us, and in almost every case, somebody else in the group would say, I could have written that same story.
Yeah, that was my story, not your story.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
And so imagine
exactly.
that rippling out to the universe. The stories are universal, we think, in that way that would create support.
Right, that people
So-
know they're not alone.
When we've gone out to speak into groups as well, and they've wanted to share their stories with us after they read our book, which was just absolutely amazing, that they, again, thought that they were the only ones, or those with younger children are scared to death.
As they read this, yes.
And they should be.
And that's so good because when we hear stories, we go, "Oh my gosh, it happened to you too. I don't
Yes.
feel alone."
Exactly.
And
Right.
that's what this whole world is about. We're not
It is
alone.
about-
We are together. Well, I'm going to ask you to stay for one more segment because I'm going to throw some parent questions at you coming up and see how you respond, what your take is, and if you have any wisdom to pass on. So stay with me. I get lots of emails daily from parents seeking help with raising kids and teens. So I pulled together a few for today's show and would like to present them to my guests, if they don't run away scared, to see if they have some mom sense to offer up
Right
to my viewers. So don't go away. We'll be right back after the short break.